Welcome back to Stories Aloud, where every trial becomes a testament and every choice echoes in destiny. Today's featured book is Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley, a riveting romantasy of elemental trials, secret rebellions, and a human heroine who refuses to be a shadow. For this exploration, we've been given some really compelling excerpts from this rich romantasy novel. Our mission really is to journey through its world, get to know its unforgettable characters, and really understand the tough journey of its resilient heroine.
Yeah, and this isn't just a story, it's a deep look at defiance. It's about how unexpected magic can just bloom in these really dark corners of a hidden, often brutal world. We'll be digging into what it actually means to find strength, to kind of forge a new path when everything, absolutely everything, seems set up to keep you small, insignificant even.
So we're jumping into Servant of Earth through Kenna's eyes, and right away her home tumbled down. It just sounds incredibly grim, doesn't it? What does that setting, that bog, tell us about her right off the bat?
Oh, it tells you so much. Kenna lives on the edge, quite literally. Tumbledown borders the Feylands, separated by this treacherous bog, her day-to-day. Scavenging stuff from the bog, ignoring all the local scary stories about knuckers and nasties. It shows this deep pragmatism she has. It's born from, well, a hard life. She only relies on herself.
And it's right there, in that bog, she finds something way more valuable than peat. And it definitely sets her on a new course. This dagger she finds, impossibly sharp, looks expensive, but the really weird part, she cuts herself by accident and the blood just vanishes. Gone. What does that kind of magic right there tell us about this world's rules and about the dagger?
It's fantastic foreshadowing, isn't it? It hints this isn't just some knife. It's a key, maybe. A key to a magic we don't get yet. It subtly brings in this idea of, well, blood magic, and maybe something sentient, something hungry. It's not just steel. It's tied to some darker, older power. We later find out it's a blood shard, a big deal. And yeah, it definitely promises something beyond selling peat, a dangerous lifeline, maybe.
Now, Kenna's got this real bitterness towards the Fae. She believes they just left her mother to die, basically. Her mother's last words were apparently this plea, maybe now they will save me. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And that trauma seems to have made Kenna super pragmatic, like the total opposite of her mother's naive faith, as the text said.
Exactly. And what's interesting is how that trauma, that bitterness about her mother, it doesn't just make her cynical. It kind of becomes her strength, her resilience. Unlike her mom's faith, Kenna's cynicism isn't a weakness here. It's like a shield. It helps her see through the deceptions and mistake later on. She even has moments where she consciously pushes the bitterness aside just to function.
Okay, so that brings us to the winter solstice. In Tumbledown, it's not really a celebration. It's this dreaded selection.
Yeah.
Unmarried human women between 20 and 30, they get chosen by the Fae to go to their underground world, Mistay. And it's all based on this old compact, peace for humans in exchange for, well, these women. Sacrifices.
Yeah, sacrifices. And this compact, this idea of peace and prosperity, it feels like a total veneer, doesn't it? Especially with those rumors some women wed princes and find eternal bliss. Kenna's experience blows that out of the water almost immediately. It shows the Fae's power, their complete disregard for human life. It sets up the tyranny she's about to walk into.
But even in this grim setting, she has Anya, her best friend. They're like sisters of the heart. And Anya's actually excited, hopeful about the Fae, believing in that eternal bliss stuff. It's such a stark contrast to Kenna. Anya even says something like, maybe they'll let me bring you to Misty, which is just knowing Kenna's feelings.
And then the hammer falls. Kenna tries to reassure Anya, right? Says, there are hundreds of women here, the odds are low, but then Anya Hayes is chosen. Kenna's reaction is instant, primal, a loud no. She physically shoves the acolyte. It just shows her loyalty, her refusal to just accept this awful fate for her friend. It's powerful. She fights back instinctively.
And her decision is immediate. Crystal clear. Anya might not believe she needed saving, but I was going to do it anyway. Even with zero faith in the Fae, her stubbornness, her knowledge of that dangerous bog, those become her weapon.
Right. She's not just reacting anymore. She's acting, making a choice. It's pure Kenna. That loyalty mixed with her cynicism means she gets the real danger Anya's, and maybe better than Anya does. So her journey into the bog that night, she's literally walking into the lion's den to save Anya, knowing the risks. And those will-o'-the-wisps drifting left, pulling them deeper, super ominous, shows you how deceptive this Fae world is.
Which leads to just the most tragic moment. Anya vanishes.
Suddenly.
Terrifyingly. Kenna screaming her name. But she's forced to leave her, chased by these fanged monsters, chanting, survive, 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 to herself. Wow, what does that do to her? The guilt, the loss?
it becomes everything, her driving force. It's this wound, that fuels her later actions. It hardens her against the Fae. Anya's presumed death shifts Kenna's mission. It's not just rescue anymore. It becomes vengeance against this whole system that just eats humans. It elevates her story, really. It makes it about defiance on a bigger scale.
So Kenna arrives in Mistday, and it is not her mother's golden castle dream. Not at all. She gets processed by these creepy sort of disembodied creatures, told to bathe, get put in a plain gray dress, and then boom, she's standing in front of King Osric, the ruler. The place looks opulent, sure, but...
Yeah. But what's underneath is just horrifying. Osric's court, it's all casual cruelty, entertainment through suffering. You see his crown described with cruel spikes. He giggles unsettlingly, then he executes a sneezing fairy like it's nothing. And moments later, he's starting a betting game on how many humans died in the bog. Pure sadism, just hammering home his absolute power. And we meet the princes. Roland, the bloodthirsty one. Drustin, who's got this wicked charm. He actually bet on Kenna surviving the bog crossing, interestingly. And Callan, the silent, scary one, who actually argues for Kenna to live. So right away, you see maybe cracks, divisions among the Fae.
Right, and amidst all that brutality, Kenna gets thrown into this weird court intrigue. She's made handmaiden to Lady Lara, heir to Earth House, kind of spoiled, getting ready for her own immortality trials. But Kenna figures out quick she's not really a companion. She's a spy for Lara's mother, Oriana. Is that just another way to control her, or does it give her an in?
It's kind of both, isn't it? Which makes it interesting. Yeah, it's control, but it also gives Kenna this unexpected close-up view of how Mistday actually works. And this is where we learn about the Fae houses. Earth neutral, wisdom, secrets, fire pleasure, cunning, light discipline, illusion lies, dreams, and void courage, loyalty to the king. Plus, crucially, there's this mention of a missing, forbidden blood house. Kenna sees the huge gap between the fancy surface of Mistday and the barbarity underneath. Especially when she finds out about human Srovins with their tongues cut out. That really cements her opposition to Osric.
Okay, now things really pick up speed. Kenna's forced into Lara's trials. And these aren't just tests for Lara, they become these intense challenges for Kenna, too. First up, the Void Trial. Courage in the labyrinth of chaos.
Yeah, and it's pitch black, full of terrifying nasties. But this is where Kenna's human smarts really shine. She uses string to navigate, her dagger to fight. It shows her practical skills are sometimes more useful than magic. She basically gets Lara through it.
Then the Light Trial. Discipline and visions.
Right.
They have to drink poisoned wine that causes hallucinations. Oof.
Yeah, and Kenna chooses to drink it too, to share the burden with Lara. She sees her worst fears, the bog, the nasties, Anya's death flashing before her eyes. It's intense psychological torment, but she endures it. Shows her mental strength is just as incredible as her physical toughness.
Next, the Earth Trial. Survival and hunting in this wild forest. This one feels different.
It really flips the script, because here, it's Kenna's human survival skills, fire building, hunting, shelter that are key, not Fae magic. Her tumble-down grit becomes her superpower almost. It really drives home that theme, that strength isn't always magic. Sometimes it's grounded, practical know-how. And this is also where she has that brutal fight with Garrick and Marcus, her first kill of a noble Fae, a huge turning point.
And finally, the Fire Trial. Hedonism and pleasure during Beltane. The fire supposedly compels you to seize your wildest desires.
Right. It's this wild celebration. And Kenna has this intense, sensual encounter with Prince Drustin. She discovers this whole other side of herself. And during this trial, her dagger, she calls it Kaido, now it properly communicates with her. Shows its sentience, its own hunger. It's more than a trial, it's self-discovery, and her bond with this living weapon deepens.
And all this is happening while secrets are just swirling around her. The dagger talking is a big one, whispering things like, whatever I wish, and punish, punish, punish. It's clearly got its own agenda, its own history.
Yeah.
A dangerous ally.
Definitely. And the political stuff heats up, too. We find out Drustin is plotting rebellion. He flat out calls Osric a tyrant, tries to recruit Kenna as a spy, hinting he's sick of the king's rule. Plus, there's Hector of Voidhouse, also wanting the throne. More complications. And then Kenna finds the king's brothel, this hidden, horrific place where humans are abused. It just deepens her resolve. She learns about hidden passages, identifies abusers. It gets personal, really personal.
And then there's that massive obstacle, the Unbreakable Ward. Osric can't be harmed by any Fae whose house helped create the ward. That sounds impossible to overcome. How does that reflect Fae power?
It shows a system totally rigged for control, right? The ward isn't just magic protection. It's symbolic of Osric's total dominance. It means a direct attack from within the main Fae power structure. Basically useless. It highlights the need for something new, an outside force maybe, or a different kind of magic entirely. It really ramps up the stakes for any rebellion.
The tension just keeps building. The cruelty ramps up. Osric publicly tortures a fairy mother, steals her baby. Just pure sadism on display, reinforcing why he has to be stopped.
Which leads to this absolutely gut-wrenching betrayal and sacrifice. At the final ceremony, Drustin points the finger at Selwyn, Lara's brother, says he's plotting against the king. It's a lie. A deliberate, painful lie Drustin tells to protect the real rebellion. Selwyn is executed instantly by the shards. His last words, though: "Everyone in Mistay deserves to be free." He sacrifices himself for the cause. It's a brutal reminder of the cost of freedom.
And right after that, Drustin throws Kenna under the bus too. Reveals her cheating in the Void trial. Looks like she's next for execution. But Kenna, she fires back. "I deny any word but my own." Still defiant. Still fighting.
This is it, the climax of her journey. Lara gets thrown into the shard's vortex first. She survives, but loses her magic. Then it's Kenna's turn, facing the judgment of the shards. Her body is literally disintegrating, falling apart. But in this incredible moment of willpower, she chooses to stay. To fight for Mistay, not escape into death. She wills herself to remain, to face the tyranny. It's amazing.
And then, the transformation. The shards, guided by her dagger, the blood shard, judge her worthy. They grant her the powers of the lost Bloodhouse. She's declared Bloodhouse reborn, immortal now, with new powers tied to that dagger. Her destiny clicks into place.
And with that, revolution erupts. Earthhouse, using Selwyn's secret tunnels, his sacrifice paying off, joins Drustin's fire in parts of Lighthouse. They attack Osric. Even Callan, the Silent Prince, joins the rebels, fights alongside Drustin. It shows how deep the desire for change went. The unbreakable ward. Broken, not by the old Fey houses, but by Bloodhouse reborn through Kenna, a human breaking the cycle.
And Kenna, now empowered, gets her vengeance, takes down Osric's guards easily, uses her new sight to cut through his illusions, and then she kills him. The tyrant falls.
It's a powerful moment, but the ending, it's bittersweet, isn't it? Kenna finds Anya alive, but deeply traumatized, scarred from being Osric's pet. She doesn't even recognize Kenna. It really highlights the deep wounds Mistay has. Overthrowing the king doesn't magically heal everything. It makes you ask, okay, what now? How does healing even begin after all that?
Right. And with Drustin and Hector now vying for the throne, Kenna makes a really interesting choice. She doesn't pick a side. Instead, she declares Bloodhouse neutral. And she offers Lara, who lost her magic, a place in this reborn house. Forging this new friendship, promising to help Anya heal. It's a different kind of leadership she's choosing, focused on healing, not just power.
So Kenna's journey, it's incredible. From this bitter, cynical human just wanting out, she becomes this powerful fairy leader, the embodiment of rebellion, of fighting for freedom. Her story shows that strength isn't just magic or power. It's compassion, loyalty, the sheer guts to challenge tyranny, even when it costs you everything. And it leaves you thinking, right, what kind of world do you build after? What does real leadership look like then?
In a world teeming with blood-bound magic, twisted trials, and dangerous desires, Servant of Earth is a hauntingly beautiful tale of rebellion, vengeance, and the kind of love that walks hand in hand with ruin. Sarah Hawley doesn't just build a world, she dares you to survive in it. If you've ever rooted for the underdog, questioned the price of freedom, or craved a story where the heroine fights back with fire and fury, this is your story.
Yeah, as one review said, a rich, dark fairy tale, propulsive and dagger sharp. And another, twisty, bloody, romantic, and utterly unforgettable. It really captures it.
We're just getting started with the worlds hidden behind words. Subscribe to Stories Aloud, where every story read is one more world you've lived. Until next time, keep listening.